Exposed. Arrogant employee kicks cleaner discover her billionaire boss's hidden mother. In spy. Sarah wiped the sweat from her brow, her hand steadying the broom as she swept the polished floors of the law firm. The offices sparkled with success, while she hustled to make ends meet, all for her spirited 6-year-old daughter, Emma. With each sweeping motion, Sarah reminded herself that her hard work illuminated the heart of a bustling city. Every ounce of grit she poured into her job was a sacrifice for Emma's future. A proud smile often broke through her exhaustion when Emma giggled at her silly dance moves at home, reminding her life was still worth the fight. But today was different. As she moved through the grand hallway, high heels echoed behind her. Claire, the well-dressed executive with an air of superiority, strolled past, her nose tilted up, gazing down at Sarah like she was mere furniture. "You really think you belong in a place like this?" Claire scoffed. "Maybe if you dress better, you'd look less like a glorified maid." Something inside Sarah snapped, igniting a fire that reverberated throughout her soul. Time slowed as every worker nearby turned to watch, the weight of their gazes heavy as she confronted Claire. "I take pride in my work. It's not about the clothes I wear but the care I put into my job," she shot back, her voice shaking with emotion. Gasps echoed around the room. This wasn't just a confrontation. It was a reckoning, a battle between privilege and dignity. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Claire's face reddened, but the tension echoed far beyond their exchange. Clips of Sarah's confrontation exploded online. The views skyrocketed, prompting conversations about economic inequality and the mistreatment of workers. Soon, Sarah's pride turned into purpose. With every like and share, the community grew, calling for a rally and event to unite those working tirelessly behind the scenes. As anticipation built, Claire's estranged mother, an elusive billionaire-turned-activist, saw the videos and felt compelled to intervene. She arrived unannounced, a storm brewing inside her, ready to face the daughters she had distanced herself from long ago. It was time to confront her own past. The air crackled with old ghosts as she faced Claire's arrogance and Sarah's authenticity. Moments before the rally, Sarah and Claire collided again, their worlds crashing together. "You don't understand," Claire said, her voice wavering. "I was raised in privilege." But Sarah, gathering her courage, replied, "Privilege doesn't define you. It's how you choose to treat those around you that does." The community clung to Sarah's words as the rally loomed on the horizon, a monumental event promising change. The world was watching. Claire stood at a crossroads, a choice looming. Would she break free from her past, embracing a future of empathy, or cling to the comforts of wealth? The answer danced in the air, unresolved yet brimming with possibility, as tension hung like a thick curtain between them. The morning of the rally dawned, bright and hopeful, yet an underlying tension sizzled in the air. Sarah adjusted her simple blouse, feeling the fabric scratch against her skin. She took a deep breath, every inhale a reminder of what was at stake. The city felt alive with purpose, as if the buildings themselves were churning with anticipation. Friends and neighbors gathered in the park, their faces a mix of determination and excitement. This was more than just an event, it was a manifestation of unity, a genuine call for justice. As she approached the makeshift stage, Sarah felt a swell of gratitude wash over her. The crowd buzzed with stories of struggle and resilience, each voice a thread in this rich tapestry of shared experiences. She spotted Emma playing nearby, her laughter ringing like a melody. That sound turned Sarah's heart, bringing clarity. This was for her daughter, and every child that deserved dignity and respect. Claire watched from the sidelines, a mixture of uncertainty and defiance tugging at her features. She felt the weight of the moment, the pull of the truths Sarah had spoken. It gnawed at her, that nagging realization that she had a choice to make. As she stood frozen, her heart raced. Her mother's return loomed large in her mind. What would she say? Would she be proud of Claire's past, or would she, too, demand accountability for their shared history? The rally kicked off, filled with passionate speeches and heartfelt performances. People shared their stories, tales of exploitation, long hours, low wages, and the invisible labor that keep the city shining. Each testimony struck a chord, resonating deeper within Sarah. She stepped into the spotlight, her throat tight, but determined to speak. "Today, we stand together," she shouted, her voice gaining strength through the sea of faces. "We deserve respect. We are not invisible." The crowd erupted into cheers, and it ignited something even deeper within her hope. This was a moment for truth and authenticity, capturing the spirit of those who worked hard every day yet received little in return. Claire's chest tightened. Watching Sarah, she felt an unexpected churn in her heart. A fragment of admiration mixed with shame twisted inside as she questioned her own choices. Was her mother's fortune worth more than the people who made it possible? As the rally moved forward, Claire moved closer, her heart pounding. She felt an impulse to join. What if she could bridge the gap? If she was willing to step out of her comfort zone, could she find her place in this newfound community? Just then, Sarah spotted Claire, moving toward her, hesitation written all over her face. "Sarah," she started, her voice barely above a whisper. The crowd began to quiet, sensing the monumental moment before them. Claire's gaze held vulnerability, a stark contrast to the arrogance from before. "Can we talk?" 1,000 questions raced through Sarah's mind, but the weight of the moment wouldn't let her turn away. She took a step forward, trembling with anticipation. This could change everything. Who would speak for Sarah today? And could Claire finally free herself from her chains of privilege and join the fight? The air was charged with possibility as both women stood on the brink of their future, uncertain yet ready to confront the truths that lay before them. Claire's heart raced as she stepped closer to Sarah, the words she had rehearsed fading from her mind. The energy of the rally surrounded them, thick with voices calling for change, and here she was feeling utterly small. The crowd shifted, some narrowing their eyes at Claire, sensing the tension between them. Here she was, the privileged one in a space filled with struggle. "Can we?" Claire swallowed hard. "Can we talk behind the stage?" Sarah hesitated for a moment. The past hung heavy in the space between them, and she couldn't shake the memories of Claire's dismissive condescension. But something softened in her. Maybe it was the vulnerability in Claire's eyes or the hope that flickered like a candle inside, daring to grow. "Okay," Sarah replied, her voice steady. She nodded toward the side, leading the way as the lively sounds of the rally faded slightly behind them. They ducked behind the stage, and the air felt less electric, almost heavy. "Why are you here?" Sarah asked, crossing her arms, a defensive stance. She wasn't sure if she was ready to let her guard down. Claire opened her mouth to speak, but the words tangled in her throat. Claire started again. "I want to understand. About all of this." The softness in her voice struck Sarah. "Understanding doesn't always come easy for people like you," Sarah shot back, the years of being looked down upon surfacing. "What do you mean?" Claire's voice wavered, but she held her head high. "It's not like I chose what I was born into." "No, but you benefit from it. You stand over us while we do the work," Sarah replied, her pulse quickening. But even as she spoke, she saw the flicker of sincerity in Claire's eyes. "I never thought about it that way," Claire admitted, a crack in her once certain exterior. "My mother, she's a billionaire, yes, but do you ever think about the people who help maintain that wealth?" Claire's face fell as Sarah's words cut through her carefully constructed defense. "I guess you don't care," Sarah interrupted, eyes blazing. "No!" Claire stepped forward, desperation rising. "I'm not like that. I want to help. My mother, she's been out of touch. I don't think she sees us that her empire is built on the backs of people like you." Sarah paused. The rawness of Claire's voice reached something buried inside her. Could there be a flicker of truth in her words? "I want to do something," Claire continued, "for you, for the people who have suffered. I want to. Before Claire could finish, the sound of applause echoed from the main stage. They both turned their heads, caught in the swirl of emotions. The rally thrummed with life, but here they were, stuck in a moment that felt like the universe was giving them a chance to change everything. What if, Sarah said slowly, what if we team up? If you truly mean what you say, we can fight together. You could change things from the inside. Claire's eyes widened, hope threading through her heart. Really? You trust me? I don't know. But we have to try, Sarah responded, a mix of fear and exhilaration flooding her. A glimmer of something new shimmered between them, a tentative alliance forged from honesty and a willingness to confront the past. As the sounds of hope surged around them, a question lingered, pulling at Claire's mind: could she truly leave her privileged world behind? And for Sarah, would this unexpected partnership be enough to make a real difference, or would their combined efforts crumble under the weight of their differences? The two women stood on the precipice of change. What would this new alliance bring to light? Would they dare to challenge the powers holding them apart? As they prepared to step back into the rally, the world outside beckoned them into the fray, ready to write a new narrative. The crowd roared, voices rising like a tide eager for change. As Claire turned to step back toward the rally, a rush of uncertainty coursed through her. This was it. Their first step together. Yet what that step meant was still shrouded in doubt. Wait, Sarah said, gripping Claire's arm gently but firmly. We need a plan. If we're going to do this, we can't just jump in blindly. Claire nodded, the fear evident in her eyes. What do you suggest? First, we need to connect with the people. Get to know their stories, their struggles. Sarah's voice held a quiet intensity. And you need to share your world too. Your mother is powerful. Her influence can change things. But we have to approach this genuinely. Claire felt her heartbeat quicken at the thought. But how do I approach her? She never listened. Then make her listen, Sarah replied, determination etched on her face. You care about this. You want to help. Use that drive. We'll write a letter together outlining our goals, outlining the very real impact her wealth has on people's lives. Claire's fingers fidgeted with the hem of her shirt. Would her mother even take the time to read it? What if she dismisses it? What if she doesn't care? Then we find a way to make her care, Sarah insisted. Her conviction was infectious. We'll gather stories, testimonies of the people affected, bring it to her. Make it personal. Show her the impact. Claire took a deep breath, considering the trepidation brewing in her chest. You really think that would work? It's our best shot, Sarah replied, her voice steady. But you have to commit to being honest. No more hiding behind privilege. You step up as an ally. A chill ran through Claire's spine at the weight of those words. It felt monumental. I'm scared, Sarah. What if I fail? Then we'll regroup and try again. But don't let fear stop you. You've taken the first step just by being here. The fire in Sarah's eyes glimmered with something unexpected, faith. They shared a moment of understanding that felt almost tangible, solidifying their alliance. The noise of the rally faded, and all that mattered was the possibility of change. Claire had no idea what lay ahead, but a sense of purpose ignited within her. Let us do it, Claire whispered, her voice steadying. Let us make this happen. As they stepped back into the vibrant chaos of the rally, the energy buzzed around them like a swarm of bees, each one a voice clamoring for recognition. With every step, the doubts began to recede, replaced by adrenaline and an undeniable will to fight. Just then, Claire caught a glimpse of her mother's car pulling up to the edge of the rally. It was sleek and polished, standing out in stark contrast to the passionate throng of people gathered around. What is she doing here? Claire gasped, a rush of dread washing over her. I don't know, but this could be a turning point, Sarah said, urgency lacing her tone. Let us approach her. You can do this. Before Claire could respond, the car door swung open, and out stepped her mother, perfectly put together, her gaze scanning the crowd. Claire's heart raced as she felt all her resolve teeter on the edge. Claire, wait! Sarah urged as Claire started walking toward her mother, determination pushing her forward. What could she say? How would this moment change everything? Would her mother understand? Or would Claire's courage simply drown in the tide of privilege? As she closed in, Claire could only think of one thing. Everything she thought she knew was about to be challenged. Was she ready for the truth that lay ahead? Claire's steps felt like they were in slow motion. She could hear the rally behind her, a mass of voices filled with hope and fury. But in this moment, all she could focus on was her mother, standing with that familiar air of authority. The sharp outline of her stiletto heels pressed into the pavement, creating an echo that resonated with the sense of finality. "Claire," her mother called, spotting her. There was a mixture of surprise and curiosity in her voice. "What are you doing here?" Fresh emotions surged within Claire. Anger, guilt, but mostly fear. Did her mother even understand what was happening, or was she trapped in her own world, oblivious to the struggles surrounding them? "I wanted to talk." Claire's voice quivered, but she pressed on. "About everything that is going on. About what we can do to help." Her mother studied her, those cool blue eyes flicking over Claire's disheveled rally attire before narrowing slightly. "Help? Claire, this is just chaos. Why would you involve yourself in this mess?" The disdain in her voice cut deep, but Claire pushed back. "Because it matters. People are suffering, Mom. And we have the chance to make a difference." Sarah had stepped back, giving Claire the space she needed. This was her moment, her fight. "I don't understand," her mother said, crossing her arms tightly, an old defensive posture that felt all too familiar. "How do you think you can possibly relate to these people?" Her tone carried disbelief, folding into the crowd's noise, but at that moment, it felt like the only sound Claire could hear. "Because I do understand, at least I want to. I've met them, heard their stories. They aren't just statistics. They're real people with real struggles," Claire shot back, the fire in her chest igniting even more. "Do you honestly believe a letter or a few warm words will change anything?" Her mother's brow furrowed, her lips pressed into a thin line. "These people need jobs and discipline, not sympathy. That's exactly the problem." Claire took a deep breath, mixing anger with desperation. "You don't see them for who they are. You can help change their systems, they need you. And we can together, Claire." Her mother cut in sharply, and a hush fell over the nearby crowd, heads turning curiously toward the exchange. "You live in a dream world. The real world doesn't work that way." The rejection stung. Claire felt the heavy weight of her mother's privilege crushing down on her. She opened her mouth, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, tears pricked at the corners of her eyes. "Mom," she finally managed, "I want to be someone who can help. Please don't shut me out before I even begin." For a fleeting moment, Claire saw the flash of something in her mother's eyes, concern, perhaps? Or guilt? But it vanished as quickly as it appeared. "Listen," she said, her voice now softer but still firm. "You have your life, your friends, you're not responsible for the world's problems. Focus on your future." Claire felt her heart sink. She was pleading, yet it wasn't reaching her mother. There was always a boundary, a golden line that Claire had never dared to cross. But now, standing in front of her, that line was screaming for attention. Then Claire remembered. "What about Mrs. Green? The cleaner? Do you know she works 2 jobs just to make ends meet? Or about the way you treat her staff?" Her mother stiffened, but Claire continued, the hurt transforming into resolve. "They need to be seen. They need hope. I think you need to come home," her mother replied, words made of steel. And with that, a surge of emotions bubbled in Claire. Did her mother truly not want to see? Or was she afraid of what it might mean? Suddenly, from the crowd, someone stepped forward. "Ma'am?" A voice called out, full of weight and timbre. "You can change their lives. You have that power." The eyes shifted to the speaker, a former employee, a face Claire recognized but couldn't quite place. Her mother seemed taken aback, and Claire saw a flicker of vulnerability in her expression. Now was the moment. Could she seize it? Would her mother listen to these voices? Claire's heart pounded in her chest. This was the opening she had been waiting for. This wasn't over. She took a deep breath, stepping closer. Mom, please don't walk away. What would her mother choose? Would this rally be the turning point, or just another mischance? Claire's gaze darted between her mother and the crowd, feeling the weight of so many eyes. The tension thickened, a tangible current. The crowd had become a living organism, holding its breath as they waited to see what would unfold. Her mother still appeared impervious, an impenetrable fortress of privilege and indifference. Mom, Claire began again, steadier this time. What about the times we've talked about helping others? You always said it was important to give back. Give back? Her mother's voice sliced through the air, and Claire flinched. Those are just pretty words, Claire. They don't solve real problems. You think I haven't done enough charity events? Those gala nights and fancy donations don't translate into actual help. They just allow people to feel good about themselves. Claire inhaled deep, fighting against the rising tide of frustration. But real help comes from understanding, from connecting. This is about more than money. It's about people having a voice. Stop this, Claire! Her mother's command echoed, sharp and desperate. She might as well have held up a wall between them. You're being naive. You need to protect your own future. That's exactly it. Claire shook her head vehemently, her heart racing. Don't you see? I want to build that future with people who matter. I don't want to succeed in a bubble where the world outside is suffering. I want to be part of the change. A ripple of murmurs fanned out through the crowd, and Claire sensed a shift. Their collective feeling of hope began to rise. Something in the air crackled with possibility. I assent that what you taught me? She pressed, her eyes locking onto her mother's. To care about others, to stand for what is right? If you really believe in those values, why not take this chance? Claire's mother hesitated, her confident facade starting to tremble. The crowd was leaning in, sensing the tension, the drama unfolding. It was a delicate moment, both fragile and electrifying. Who are you trying to impress, Claire? These people don't even know you, her mother spat, although her voice lacked its usual conviction. Maybe not, Claire replied, breathless. But they know their struggles. And we can change that together. You have the resources. If you truly stepped in, perhaps things could be different. The former employee from the crowd took another step forward. Ma'am, we don't want charity. We want someone to believe in us, to give us a chance. That's what Claire is offering you. Her mother looked at Claire, then at the crowd, her expression turbulent. The moments stretched out painfully. Could Claire see the inner conflict? She yearned to reach through the gap, bridge the divide. Mom, Claire urged gently, feeling the sting of tears rising again. You don't have to solve everything alone. Just take the first step. Be the voice they need. A silence settled like a blanket over them. The crowd held their breath, fingers fidgeting nervously. Claire's heart thumped loudly in her ears as she anxiously searched her mother's face for any flicker of recognition, for any hint of agreement. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Claire's mother shifted her weight, although the defiance still lingered in her posture. She opened her mouth to speak, and for a heartbeat, Claire dared to hope. The moment hung heavily. What would her mother choose, the comfort of her old ways or the call of a new purpose? Claire barely breathed, caught in the precipice of uncertainty, knowing the answer was about to change everything. Claire, but before she could finish, another voice erupted from the crowd, a young woman stepping forward, eyes blazing with passion. You say you care, but what are you truly willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to fight for us? As the crowd rallied behind her, Claire felt a surge of energy. Something was shifting, reshaping the air. But the question lingered, would her mother take the leap, or back away into the shadows? The weight of that question hung thick in the air as Claire braced herself for whatever was to come. Would this rally echo with the sound of change or leave them all unheard? The crowd surged forward, their emotions flaring like flames. Claire's heart raced, not just from the confrontation with her mother, but from the raw energy of the people around her. She could feel their hope, desperation, and determination mixing in the air, creating an atmosphere thick with anticipation. Her mother stared, and for a moment, Claire imagined all the years of love and tension flooding between them. The woman who had always been fiercely protective, locked in her world of privilege, was now being challenged in the most public way. Claire's mother shifted her weight again, as if waging a personal battle within herself. "Are you really ready to stand here and demand sacrifices from me?" Her mother's voice wobbled, betraying the layers of walls she usually built so high. "You act like this is simple." "It isn't simple, Mom," Claire insisted, her tone softening slightly. "But it's necessary. We have a chance to make a difference. To be part of something real." The young woman who had spoken earlier stepped closer, her expression a mix of conviction and vulnerability. "We're not asking you to throw away your life. We're asking you to see us. To care enough to try." A wave of murmurs swept through the crowd. They were ready to push the boundaries of their circumstances. All at once, the energy changed. It felt like there was a collective heartbeat echoing through the crowd, a pulsing rhythm of hope and challenge. Claire turned back to her mother, sensing the shift. "What do you want, Mom? To be on the sidelines, watching things unravel? Or do you want to fight alongside us? It's your choice. This is a moment that can redefine everything for you and for me." For a heartbeat, the tension hung like a tightrope strung over an abyss. Claire held her breath as the reality of sisterhood, vulnerability, and rebellion collided in the air. She searched her mother's face, looking for any sign of recognition, longing for that connection. Then, an unexpected voice came from the back of the crowd, an older gentleman, clearly weathered by life's challenges. "Lady, we've made our mistakes. Some of us have lost everything. But we deserve a chance. All we're asking is for someone to believe in us." The words hit like arrows, piercing the hesitation hanging in the air. Claire watched closely as her mother's expression shifted, clouds of doubt swirling above her. "Believe in you?" her mother echoed softly. "And what would that look like? What if I fail?" A rumble of resolve rolled through the crowd, and Claire leaned in. "What if you don't? What if by stepping in, you change everything? For both of us." Her words landed, sparking a flicker of something in her mother's eyes, a glimmer of uncertainty mixed with intrigue. Claire took a small step forward, heart pounding. "Mom, think of all the lives that could be changed. You have the chance to be more than who you've always been. Don't you want that?" The murmurs grew louder, voices rising in unity, carrying that hope like a banner. The crowd rallied, forming a protective bubble of warmth and resilience around them. Could this really be happening? And then, just at the brink of her mother's decision, another voice sliced through with unexpected force. "What's stopping you? If you're not willing to sacrifice, then what are you really living for?" Claire felt her pulse quicken again. Could this stranger shift everything in this delicate weave of hope and uncertainty? What if this was the moment of truth her mother needed, not just for herself but for them all? The weight of the question loomed large in that charged atmosphere. Would this spark ignite a fire of change? Claire held her breath again, feeling the stakes climbing higher. Time seemed to freeze, the air thickening with anticipation as Claire's mother surveyed the sea of faces surrounding her. Each person reflected struggles and dreams, their collective energy pushing against the walls of her carefully built life. "What am I really living for?" echoed in the recesses of Claire's mind, almost haunting her. The crowd leaned in, their hope tangible, as if they were catching whispers of fate. Claire caught her mother's eyes again. For the first time, it felt like a link was forming, like the threads of their lives were tangling in the most unexpected way. "Mom," Claire said softly, her voice breaking through the heavy silence. "We don't need perfection. Just honesty. Just a chance to be heard." She stepped closer, heart pounding like a drum, daring to break the silence that bound them. Tears stung at her eyes, a mixture of fear and hope. This is bigger than us. It could change everything. For everyone. The words hung in the air, weaving doubt and hope around Claire's mother like a thin mist. A flicker ignited at the corners of her mouth, almost a smile, but it flickered out, doused by the weight of reality. The older man continued, "You can inspire change. You have a power we all wish we had. Her mother began, hesitating as if the weight of her privilege crushed her. And if I fail to make that change? What if it all shatters? But Claire shook her head, unwilling to let her mother retreat. What if it doesn't? What if you find strength in connecting with us, in being vulnerable? These people are people, they're ready for a leader. And that could be you. The crowd murmured again, excitement buzzing like live wires. Claire glanced around, seeing embers of hope flickering in their eyes. Would her mother dare to leap into this chaos? Would she rise from the shadows of her own expectations? Suddenly, a tear rolled down her mother's cheek, glistening like a beacon. It was vulnerability in its rawest form, a crack in the facade. Claire felt herself step back, the tiniest doubt creeping in. Is this enough? Will it reach her? Then the older man called out, Your fear, lady, it's not just yours. It's among us all. Don't let it wrap you in chains. Let us be free together. The moment teetered on the edge, like the last tip of a tightrope walker wobbling with uncertainty. Claire's heart leapt. If her mother could see that this wasn't just about her but about them all, maybe, just maybe, this could change everything. Stroke by stroke, her mother's expression softened. What if I stepped in and found my voice? Her voice trembled, a mixture of realization and wonder. What if you're right? The crowd erupted. Joy surged through them, a wave crashing against the shores of despair. Claire felt hope ignite in her chest, warmth spreading. This could be it. This could be the moment that humanity found its heartbeat again. Yet just as the currents of joy seemed to swell, a sudden shout cut through the air. Wait! What if you get too involved and lose everything? Claire's heart plummeted. Doubt echoed again, heavy and clamorous. Could her mother handle the weight of such a choice? Could they all withstand the consequences? Was their fragile hope merely a flicker that could be snuffed out just as quickly? As the questioning voice rippled through the crowd, Claire's stomach nodded. The stakes felt higher than ever. What would her mother choose now? Would she step into the light, or retreat back into the shadows once again? The crowd fell silent. Every glance turned toward Claire's mother, their nervous energy hanging in the air. Claire felt as though time had thickened around them, each heartbeat echoing louder than the last. Would her mother accept this challenge? Her mother's face bore the weight of the world. Claire could see the struggle in her eyes, a whirlwind of fear and hope. With a shaky breath, her mother looked back at the crowd, searching their faces. What if I fail after all this? What if I just disappoint you? A deep murmur rippled through the audience. They understood her fears all too well. Claire stepped forward, drawing strength from her own uncertainty. But what if you don't? She urged gently. What if you inspire someone else? What if this can light the way for all of us? Those words hung there, fragile yet powerful. Slowly, the crowd began to nod, their agreement like waves growing stronger. They could see it now, the potential, the warmth that honesty could bring. Every voice matters, the older man chimed in again, his tone firm and encouraging. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. The spark ignited something within Claire's mother. I'm not sure where to start, she admitted, vulnerability adorning her features like a crown. Start by sharing your own story, Claire implored, her heart racing even more. Tell us about your doubts. Show us that it's okay not to have it all together. As she spoke, Claire could see her mother's demeanor shifting. The weight in her shoulders seemed to lighten. Maybe I can do that, she whispered, half to herself. The crowd leaned forward, anticipation swelling. Then, as if a dam had broken, Claire's mother began to speak. I've been lucky, she stammered, her voice shaky yet gaining strength. But luck doesn't erase the fear. Every decision I've made was wrapped in privilege, and that privilege has shielded me from the struggles that many of you face every day. Tears started rolling down her cheeks, but this time, they sparkled with a newfound clarity. I've been scared to step out, to be seen. But perhaps it's time to show the real me. I think I owe it to you. A wave of understanding passed through the crowd. Claire could see her mother begin to breathe a bit deeper, the connection between them stretching out like a long-forgotten thread being gently tugged. Yes, Claire shouted, her pulse thrumming in her ears. "You're already doing it. You're leading just by being here." The crowd responded with warmth, a gentle tide lifting them all together. A ripple of encouragement surged forth, hands clapping, faces beaming. It felt like they had crossed the chasm, and now they could touch the promise of connection. But as high as their hopes soared, Claire felt another wave of anxiety wash over her. What about the fear that still lingered on the edges? The skeptics that could dampen the spirit? Just then, a voice rose from the back of the crowd. "What will happen when you face the backlash?" Claire's breath caught in her throat. Just like that, uncertainty loomed over them again. Would they be ready for the pushback? Would her mother's courage thrive under scrutiny? As the crowd's energy fluctuated with mixed emotions, Claire felt her heart sink. This moment was teetering on a knife's edge. Would they break through, or would the doubts shut them down before they could even begin? The silence stretched until it felt almost unbearable. What would her mother say next? Would she rise to the challenge once more, or would she back down into the safety of her privileged cocoon? Claire's mother took a deep breath, her eyes scanning the crowd. Their uncertainty reflected in her own heart. The weight of her privilege had been like chains, but here was a chance for freedom, a chance to break away. She could feel the nervous energy of 1,000 lives resting on her decision. "You're right," she finally said, her voice shaky yet resolute. "If I truly want to help, I must be prepared for opposition. I need to be brave, even when it's hard." The crowd whispered in awe, her admission penetrating deeper than she realized. It was a truth that needed to be said. "Real change never comes easy," Claire added, her heart hammering with pride for her mother. "But you're taking the first step now. That's what matters." Yet doubt flickered behind her mother's eyes, a shadow lingering. "What if I can't change anything? What if it only makes things worse?" "Then you try again," Claire replied, a surge of conviction igniting within her. "But don't stop just because it gets tough. We need you to stand with us." The words felt like a mantle being passed down, and the crowd began to echo their support, voices rising in solidarity. I want to initiate a program," her mother continued, words rushing forth. "Something that will provide jobs and resources. We can start small, create a mentorship program that connects people looking for work with those who have the means to help." Cheers erupted from the crowd, and Claire's heart soared. Her mother was finding her voice. The air crackled with energy, resonating with the potential of what they could build together. "I'll also speak with my connections, those who can help fund community efforts," Claire's mother added, her confidence growing with every word. "I'll make sure it's not simply another empty promise," she promised, a new fire igniting in her eyes. "Stop talking about it. Start doing." A voice echoed out, and the crowd roared in approval. "I'm ready," Claire's mother affirmed. "I won't hide anymore. I want to learn from all of you, work side by side until we can make a tangible difference." And just like that, a tidal wave of support surged through the crowd. Families, friends, neighbors, and everyone who felt their sacrifices had been overlooked began to cheer loudly, their excitement infectious. It was a magic moment, filled with emotion, resiliency woven into every clap, every shout. Claire stepped forward and took her mother's hand, wrapping her fingers around hers tightly. The symbolism wasn't lost on the crowd. Two women from disparate worlds, now united. "This is just the beginning," Claire said, her voice trembling with hope. "Together, we will create change that resonates far beyond this rally." "Yes," someone shouted. "Let us build it together." Overhead, the sun shone brightly, illuminating the convergence of their hopes, desires, and dreams. The air thickened with possibility, as voices surged forward, each tone carved from determination and passion. As the rally continued, Claire could feel a weight lifting from her heart. The alliance formed with her mother, despite the challenges that lay ahead, sparked a collective energy that could not be dimmed. They were all ready to face the road ahead together to claim their place in a society that had often overlooked them. The march toward a milestone of authenticity had begun, and every step resonated with promise. Arms linked, hands held high, the crowd paraded forward, motivated by shared stories, shared struggles, and a united vision. Together, they could change their narrative. This is what it meant to rise. This is what it meant to stand together. The future shone brightly before them like a beacon, their symbol of hope and resilience, soaring against the sky. It was a reminder that transformation began when people dared to fight for one another. And as Claire looked at her mother, she understood this was more than just a rally. It was truly a clear signal that together, they would not just be seen, they would be heard. As the rally ended, an echo of enthusiasm rang through the crowd, a promise that they would fight for their dignity. That they would stand tall together. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories that inspire real change. Leave a like now to help us spread the message and feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible transformation. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this moment of unity and strength. True fans understand the power of support. Now let us keep this movement alive.